Alright, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Qudash. Double honors our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect who work in sincerity and the truth. Shalawam. This is GMS Precepts, Nazar Cut here, and the topic I'm going to touch on today, as you saw in the video, is a food short. Is the well, it's going to cause a food shortage, but it's the elimination or the cutting of the food stamps. Okay, it's not really the cutting. Let me get the well, yeah, it's a food stamp cut. Why? Because there's going to be an extra. It's going to be more difficult for people to acquire the food stamp. There's food stamps or benefits that they've been receiving. Okay, as you can see here, it says more than 500,000 people are set to be thrown off food stamps after the Trump administration on Wednesday approved new requirement tightening the criteria to qualify the public assistance program. So you know who this is really going to affect. It's really going to affect you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Why? Because although you do have a lot of Edomites or other nations that are on food stamps, I believe there's more so-called Caucasians or so-called or not so-called or Edomites on food stamps. There's a lot of you people on food stamps. There's a lot of so-called Jews, okay, on food stamps, but it's going to affect you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans more because, for instance, those fake Jews that are on food stamps, they don't really need it, okay? They're just simply taking advantage of the system, okay? They've already owned businesses. They already own a lot. They already have a lot of wealth. They're just cheap, and they're taking advantage of the system. It's really going to affect you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans more because you actually need those benefits, okay? All right, it's going to affect other nations too, but really it's going to affect our people more. Hence the reason why they're doing it. Okay. It said the rule is set to go in effect in April 2020. The rule change is expected to save the federal government more than $5 billion. Blah blah blah. But it's really gonna so you know, this is what you people have to look forward to. Let me read this one more article. You can't see all of it, but it says the Congressional Black Caucus blasts immoral and cold-hearted food stamp cuts. Let me go just dump down to the second thing right here, paragraph. It says the decision by the Trump administration to hurt poor and working class Americans by requiring able-bodied adults without dependents or ABODs to submit to more onerous restrictions to qualify for food stamps is disgraceful, the group said. So, hey, it's gonna get tough for you, and this is what we talk about. Look, it says it could cut benefits for about 750,000. Okay, so this is what we talk about when we talk about the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob meaning you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. These are one of the situations that we talk about as far as it's going to be hard times for you people, man. Okay. Let's go to the scriptures. What I got here. Let me read Lamentations, the 4th chapter, because to die by way of famine is very painful, man. Okay. Just like this scripture explains. This is Lamentations 4:9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Okay? Why? Because when you starve to death, right? It's your insides literally feeding on itself. Okay? When you go on a fast, what happens? Your body absorbs some fat cells for energy to sustain itself, but when it's for a prolonged period, when it's for a long period of time, like days, your body starts to eat itself. It goes into survival mode and it eats away on itself. That's why it says, "For these pine away, stricken through the want of the fruits of the field." Okay, like you see those Hamites over there in Africa. They slowly go away. They're so weak they can't even swat the fly that's crawling all in their eyeballs, man. That's a painful way to go. And what did the scripture say in Lamentations? They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. Because at least if you're slain with the sword, it's a quick death. 1, 2, boom, 1, 2, 3. You're in the spiritual world. But for you to die, it takes a few days to die from hunger too. I'm not sure how long or exactly how long the time is, but it's a painful, slow death, and that's what you people have to look forward to. All right, I got limitation. I'm sorry. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, 5th verse. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." So this is one of the ways the Lord deals or judges the earth. Okay, sword, famine, death, and destruction. Excuse me. Let me go back here. Sword, famine, death, and destruction. And famine is a the Lord has always used the avenue of famine to as far as judgment. Okay, so why would this time around be no different? If you look throughout the scriptures and you just Google famine, you'll see how many times famine comes up. Right? And what's the reason? For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Okay, so judgment season is coming up, man. Okay, and it's gonna be a, well, I can't even say it's gonna be a wake up call for a majority of you Jakes. Okay, because majority of you Jakes are not gonna make it. 2/3 of our people, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are not gonna make it. All right, that's just your judgment. Last scripture is Revelation 18:8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. And she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. So this is all a judgment, man. Okay? This is all a judgment of the Heavenly Father, who you ignorantly call God in Christ. This is a judgment from the Most High Yahawah. Alright? Death, mourning, and famine. Okay, I think the point's made already. We have troublous times approaching, man. Okay, and one way it's gonna come is through hunger. More than 500,000 people were said. The number was what, 750. This says more than 600,000, but this article says it could cut benefits for about 750,000 people. That's a big number. All right, so those are the times that we're approaching, man. All right, Lord, one of you brothers edified. To the next show, shalawam.